So I was asked recently, how do you know when your nervous system is dysregulated? And the image that was presented was of this like snarling cat with like the hackles raised. And, I think you can kind of sense that image, just something very clearly reactive. And yes, that's dysregulation for sure. But that's not where it starts. That's really where it peaks. Because long before that moment, there really are quieter signs. And one of the biggest ones I see is this: it's control. The moment you feel the need to control something outside of you, your nervous system is asking quietly, maybe a little louder, but it's asking for safety. And so if this resonates, follow along. This is the work we're doing here. Let me know you're here. Subscribe, follow. I do these teachings 3 times a week, and I have quite a few that really might be of interest to you, especially if any of these are of interest to you. So check them out. Huge invitation for you, because we're talking about not just noticing the big reactions, but becoming aware of what happens before them. So let me know you're here. Like, subscribe. So let's talk about what dysregulation actually is. And so dysregulation is the nervous system responding to a perceived threat. And so we may think of threat in a more I don't know, like chaotic sense, or whatever may come up for you. but a perceived threat is something. Hi, Chris. Thanks for being here and subscribing. And so when we talk about a perceived threat, that is something that has bumped up against something, a trauma, an old wound, an old belief, something in our past that our nervous system built around. Okay, now this is a threat. And now we have to move into action. Right? I hope that makes sense a little. And so most of the time, it's not even logical. And it is based on these past experiences. And so our traumas, our wounding, they all come from our beliefs, the beliefs that we have integrated throughout our life. They come from not only our beliefs, but our parents, huge. The school that we went to, our culture, our religion, the TV and programs and things that we are around, especially when we were younger, right? And so these become our beliefs. But the reality is that we need to show our body, ourself, our nervous system what safe is. Because I don't know about you, but safety in my nervous system was not a conversation that I was having in any capacity at all, right? My parents couldn't tell me about it because they didn't know about it. Teachers and things like that. So we're here in this giant movement, this try it on movement that I am creating, because I want you to try this on. This is a deep invitation for you to try it on. If you're here and you're just listening, that's great. I applaud you. But if you don't start to integrate some of this stuff, I know some of it is resonating with you and you're probably going, yeah, I get that, right? Because our ego has stepped aside. And now we're just really feeling it. And so try on these teachings. You won't know. I won't know if it's good for you, and you won't know unless you try it on. And so let's get back to the nervous system, right? It's not always logical. We can't always make sense of it. And a lot of times we try to think our way out of things, or, let's use it based on science and all this. But no. This is not an intellectual thing. Our nervous system is not an intellectual, something we can think our way out of. If you could, you wouldn't be here right now, right? You wouldn't have a nervous system that's constantly dysregulated. Because in the day that we live in right now, most of us are walking around with dysregulated nervous systems, and we simply don't even recognize it. We feel the victim of our life, and everybody else is doing it to us, not that it's happening around us. And so throughout our experiences, trauma, conditioning, old beliefs, they are activating that nervous system, that fight or flight within us. In trauma, right? Trauma is a huge buzzword nowadays, and it's real. It really is real. And trauma, or karma, as I like to call it, is just our nervous system not really ever feeling the safety within the wound that we experienced. Most of the time, whatever the wounding is, we just moved past it, but not really. Our nervous system didn't move past it, even though we think we may have. And so this dysregulation, it often happens before the big reaction. Generally, the big reaction is when we notice, maybe I was a little dysregulated. Maybe that's not your words. But it usually takes something pretty dramatic for us to have our attention back onto our nervous system. But the thing is that we might not even be thinking, hey, this is a nervous system. This is me having an active nervous system. But that's what I'm here to show you, because you are the operant power. You have it all within you. This is nothing outside of you. And this work is so powerful because it leads you to you. That's it. It leads you to you. You can have, be, and do anything you want in this world when we can shift our capacity, our state to hold it. It's not about never having another reaction, because that wouldn't happen, right? We're not enlightened beings on the top of, the Himalayan, a monk on the top of the Himalayas. We're having a life, which means we cannot heal everything. We are on this journey. And we can only work with what we're being shown or what we're allowing ourselves to witness, which is what this is all about. And so let's talk about some of the early signs, because this is really important. And the more that you can understand this, the more that you can feel into these signs, the more power you have and control. See, I'm talking about control inwardly, even though we're talking about control outwardly, because outward control is a huge sign of nervous system dysregulation. And so tightness in the body, it starts with your jaw. Is your jaw clenched? Release that. Relax. Drop your shoulders. Soften your eyes. Soften. Truly, truly soften. The early signs is that tightness in the body. We start to shrug. We start to breathe in a rapid space. Mouth breathe especially. But you can catch it. You can catch it, and you can help yourself. Show yourself what safety is and feels like, instead of perpetuating all of these other, nervous system responses, these reactions within us. And so, again, tightness in the body, just right now, just drop your jaw. Just soften. Totally, completely just soften yourself and feel how beautiful that is. Another sign is urgency. And this is huge. I was actually going to make a reel about this the other day, because I had a lot on my to-do list. And I have to work at not feeling such urgency, because it really doesn't matter. It's just something my nervous system has learned. And urgency is a huge sign. You have to do. You have all these things to do. No, you're just putting a hell of a lot of pressure on yourself to do things that are probably pretty unimportant, but you are trying to control things outside of yourself because of your dysregulated nervous system. Because a regulated nervous system doesn't feel that urgency. One thing at a time. Whatever I'm doing is the most important thing. That's something I remind myself of. So try that on. Whatever I'm doing in this moment is the most important thing. Whatever comes next, comes next. Drop your jaw. Soften your jaw. That's right. Irritation. Ooh-wee, irritation. Irritation is a huge sign that your nervous system is dysregulated. And so we can feel that irritation. We feel it in our body, most likely. Or we might recognize it in a response, right? Where we all of a sudden have this really irritated response towards somebody else. It has nothing to do with what they say, right? The old version of us says, no, it was because of them. But the new version of you says, oops, I'm feeling a little bit dysregulated. Maybe I need to pause. and witness what's going on inside of my body. So let me just read this. I do not struggle here in listening. I think, well, why do I not? It's got to do with how we arrived here. I came in on the road of surrender. Yes, yes, surrender, surrender. Surrender is something that we are often shown if we don't listen. And so surrender to the life around you, because you cannot control it. You've tried. It doesn't get you anywhere. So trust the fact that you are exactly where you were meant to be in the exact moment with which you were in it. That is surrender. And that's faith. That's faith. Thank you for sharing that, Chris. And so overthinking, right? Overthinking is a huge sign that our nervous system is dysregulated. We feel pretty chaotic in our thoughts. There's no peace in there. There's no space. It's just thoughts after thoughts after thoughts. And what do? We attach to them. We attach to these thoughts as if they are us. Whoa, they're not. Just because you are thinking it doesn't mean it came from you. It comes from the beliefs that you've carried. It comes from your wounds. It comes from everything that you've experienced. It comes from the collective consciousness, right? We assume it's us because who's telling us it's not, right? So we assume it's us. But these thoughts, they just pass. They just float on by. We don't have to attach to them. When we attach to them, we give it life. And so in this overthinking, we might be having an argument with our coworker, we might be having an argument with our spouse. We may be thinking about what we shoulda, coulda, woulda done. We may be thinking about how much we're the victim of our life. That is overthinking. And you're giving life to it when you attach to it, when you attach to those thoughts as if they are you. And I will keep talking about this. It is so important, and it simply profoundly changes your life when you can experience what it means to witness a thought and not attach to a thought. Because then you have power and then you have control. And so another early sign of a dysregulation is the need for something to be different, right? You don't like the way that it is all of the sudden, and you need something to be different. You need people to change. You need the weather to change. You need all of these things around you to change, to shift. It's because you're dysregulated. Because the reality is, who needs to change? We're all on our own journey. You're on your own journey, including. We can't control the weather. We can't control what other people do. So the reality is, it's your nervous system saying, whoa, whoa, we need something. I need something to be different, not something outside of me. And so it's for us to regulate our own nervous system. Because when we are feeling the tightness in the body, go ahead and drop your jaw again. Just soften all over. Continue to soften as often as you possibly can, because, well, it feels pretty good. And also, it helps show your body you are safe. So try that on. Just drop it. Drop your shoulders. Again, that urgency, that need to do, irritation, the rapid thoughts, and thinking that something outside of you should be different, right? Those are some huge early signs, because then the control begins. The control begins. You try to control people. You try to control outcomes. You try to control conversations. You try to control how you're being perceived, how you're being received. Not because we're so powerful, right? We all do it. We all do it. We all have egos. We don't do it because we're powerful. We do it because we're unsafe. This is the reality. The more that you can regulate your nervous system, show yourself that you are safe, you create space. You could create the capacity to withstand more, because your nervous system feels safe. So that benign comment that was said to you doesn't trigger you, doesn't activate you. And the other really beautiful thing that comes out of this is you become extremely boundaried. You become boundaried. in extremely healthy ways. Because you know what safety feels like. And when we create space, when we have safety, we have a greater access to our intuition, to what is authentically within us, where we can actually feel and hear our no's versus our yeses and act accordingly to them instead of the fear of I have to say yes or I have to say no, right? It doesn't matter if it's yes or no. It matters how it feels within you. Is it safe? Right? When we create space, we create safety. We have the capacity to withstand more. We have the capacity for abundance, for more manifestations, for it all when you create space. And if you don't believe me, try it on. What do you have to lose? Right? Control is a nervous system strategy. It's not doing it on purpose, but it continues to happen. And if you really want to see where this may land for you, because this to me is one of the most powerful things to really feel, is in the car. In the car, you try to control everything while you're driving. How somebody's going to stop at a stoplight, whether they use their blinker or not, whether they pulled too far out, whether they're going too slow, maybe they're going too fast. Think about that. Think about how dysregulated you become simply driving because somebody's not doing something that you think that they should be doing. And we villainize them. We become the victim of them because our nervous system is already in response. When you have the space inside, you know that everyone's on their own journey, that nobody's doing anything to you. And so you can have a peaceful ride because you know whatever you're in, whether it's in traffic or whatever it is where you're meant to be. There's no resistance. Surrender, as Chris was saying. It's surrender. Allow the universe to universe. Stop trying to control it. But you can't do that unless you have a regulated nervous system. We need the space. And so let's talk about relationships and control because this is most often where it's going to come up for you because it's so easy for us to be dysregulated around the people that love us. And most conflicts, they come from you thinking they're not doing what you think they should do. Let this land. I know your ego might have a little bit of a problem with it, but that's okay. Send it love, right? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You assume that someone is doing something that you think they either should or should not be doing. You have forgotten because you're dysregulated that they have their own wounds. They have their own patterns. They have their own journey. They have their own nervous system. And you start thinking, why can't they see me? Why are they doing this? Maybe if I try harder. Maybe if I do more, they'll notice me. Why are they doing this stuff to me? This is dysregulation. It is not truth, but we assume it's truth because we're dysregulated. Because the reality is, it is not about them. It's not about them. It's about what's activated within you. Unmet needs, expectations, your identity being challenged, old wounds being activated that you haven't moved through. Control creates more tension because you're showing up with your energies all wound up, which then in turn probably dysregulates the other person's nervous system because you're challenging them and trying to control them. And you just do this. What's the point? Truly, what's the point? Trying to be right? Wouldn't you rather be free? Wouldn't you rather have a calm nervous system? Soften. Just soften right now. Allow yourself to soften. Try that on. Because control comes at a cost. And you have the power to stop it by recognizing when you're dysregulated before the cat, because that's a kabooey situation. Kabooey? A kablowy? A kaboomy? I don't know. You get the point. Control disconnects relationships. It does. It disconnects relationships because of this. Because you're trying to control something outside of yourself. You're trying to control another person, how they show up, what they do or don't do, what they say or don't say, because you are unsafe inside. It's a you problem. It's a you problem. I say that gently. And the more that we continue to react and facilitate this control, it's just reinforcing the pattern. So we're growing a more dysregulated nervous system because we haven't interrupted it. We don't have the capacity. And so it just keeps the nervous system in a loop. You know, I often say I don't have the bandwidth. Bandwidth is capacity. If you don't have capacity, you can't hear yourself. You can't hear what's authentic and true to you because of the constant narration, the overthinking, the fighting, the narration in your head. Right, Chris? It's hard enough to let yourself alone, let alone control someone else. There is so much ease because what happens is you provide grace for yourself and it provides grace for the other person. It invites them to show up as they are, which will stop this on their side too. It is so powerful when we shift others around us, and it's not manipulation. It is not manipulation. When you show up to somebody, they feel your energy 10 feet outside of you. Whether they're conscious of it or not, that is the reality. And you also can stay in that state, that calm within, and respond when someone else is reactive. And you will have the space to do so. Because reaction is a choice if we're paying attention. Pay attention to the signs. And so you don't control, you witness. You don't fix, you notice. Because awareness interrupts the pattern. Awareness is where we can feel that safety. Because now we're in control and we're not reacting. We're responding. Awareness is how we do it. You are not your thoughts. You are the witnesser of them. And you notice. And so I really hope that this is landing for you. That's right, Chris. If you bring the good stuff with you, it spills both ways, good or bad. We always have choice. There's always a scale. Astrology, if you're a Libra, you understand there's always balance, right? You can shift others by having joy, by being calm, by being responsive to life. Others will shift around you. Goes both ways, right? It sure does. So try this on. We're going to get into a little practice, as I like to share, because if you don't know how to do it, you will never do it, right? So the next time you feel the need to control something, pause and ask yourself so gently, what am I trying to control right now? And what am I actually feeling underneath this? Because this is a you problem. What part of me feels unsafe? And then you take a breath. And instead of controlling, you just notice. Let it be there. Allow it to be there without acting on it. That's how safety is built. And if you really want to go a little deeper and sort of excavating whatever it is you're witnessing, send it love. Send it love. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm safe. You don't need to protect me anymore. And give it away. Give it away to God. Give it away to Jesus. Give it away to whatever deity, whatever avatar. Just give it away. It's only yours if you assume it is. Let it go. Let that shit go. It's hurting you. I promise. So try this on. This is the work. This will change your life. But I can't keep telling you if you're not willing to assume it. And if you're still here, then I know you are. And I'm celebrating you because you are so freaking powerful and in control of you, not anybody else. Let them be. They're on their own journey. Your kids are on their own journey. Your animals are on their own journey. Your neighbors, your coworkers, your family, your mom, your husband, your wife. They're all on their own journey. Worry about you. It's time. It's the age of energy. If you're not shifting, I don't know. So you don't need to control your life to feel safe. You need to show your body that it already is safe because control isn't power. Awareness is. And when you begin to notice these patterns before they become reactions, everything begins to shift. Don't believe me? Try it on. And a shout out to Chris for being here and engaging. I am celebrating you on your journey and you're helping to change the world because make no mistake, right now, our world doesn't need more people outside of themselves. It needs more people who are willing to do the work inside. That will change the world greater than anything else that you do externally. I promise. Chris, you can send me a private message. I don't know what that means. Yeah, send me a message and I'm happy to go over that. I do a fair amount of astrology as well. Oh, and I just opened up some one-to-one sessions that I'm going to be updating as well because you don't have to do this alone. And I'm here with you and I'm here for you. All of this is just coming through me and I don't share any of this if I haven't done the work first, if I haven't embodied it. So thank you for being here. Until next time, cheers.